All right, so today I'm Regina from VisionTalks. I'm hopping on here to talk about the subconscious again, but from a perspective of BTEA. This comes from personal development school, which is a school, so to speak, on demand that I leverage for myself. And BTEA stands for beliefs, then become thoughts, then those thoughts become emotions, and then your emotions then dictate your actions. So it is a flow of this process which moves super fast in how you actually move through your life. So what that all ties to is the subconscious. So what I'm going to continue to always repeat is the way we move in our lives it's primarily dictated based off of our subconscious. 95 to 97% of it subconscious is primarily driven off of what happened to us in our early childhood. So logically you can really think about how, I don't want to say illogical, but it's something the child brain is not going to interpret situations the way they really are. They're going to interpret it in a way to make sure, they can survive, right? I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But overall, if you've created beliefs that people are unsafe, or I can only depend on myself, or whatever have you, and people aren't dependable, or I can't express my emotions, or expressing emotions are bad, whatever have you. If you have those core beliefs because, maybe your parents weren't as available when you were a child, then that's something that's sticking with you as an adult. And oftentimes we actually consciously think about like, oh no, I get why my parents were, a certain way, because, they were working, there wasn't the large family that was able to support, when they had to do certain things, maybe you were that, latchkey kid, whatever have you. So you can start to recognize that stuff, but still subconsciously you have these beliefs that aren't necessarily correct. And then that is the thing that is dictating how you are acting. So when moments happen that trigger that subconscious thought, they start to pull forward. They become thoughts, and you feel a certain feeling about it, and then you react based on that feeling. So if you're not intentionally going through to sort out some of that old stuff, and you don't have the ability to recognize that this is happening, then you could be making, poor decisions, poor actions incorrectly, essentially, because it's based on incorrect beliefs that you don't want to keep. So you really do have to do your due diligence to say, like, is this still serving me? Is this belief still serving me? Is this action something that I really actually want to continue to do, or do I want to improve it? And I would say the biggest thing that helped me start to really be good about recognizing things is the whole shadow work thing. But that moment taking a moment to notice. So as I'm moving through life now, right? If someone does something and I feel like, and I want to react like, maybe it's work and I'm just like, I'm ready to type with a vengeance, as per whatever, like sometimes, you want to do that, whatever. But taking that moment, like really before you're reacting, take the moment to really evaluate the situation, to say like, let me really think about this. Why do I feel like this? Is it threatening? Does it feel threatening? Why does it feel threatening? Is that accurate? Do I need to reframe it? Has this person historically been this way, like categorized as bad or unsafe or whatever have you? Maybe they've actually had a history of being like an awesome whatever friend, coworker, partner, the way they communicate, the way they're very intentional about stuff, etc., etc., etc. Maybe there's all of that, but this one action that just happened is something that triggers you into a past experience that was potentially with someone who, wasn't the most healthy person, or maybe the situation wasn't the most, safe or whatever have you. So, but really being very good about noticing the feelings. I definitely did notice some feelings sometimes and could react based on trying to protect myself, right? But when you get to the point of noticing the feelings in real time, and you could do the timeout, and then you could be like, delayed response. I'm cool with those these days, right? And you delay that response. If you have time, maybe if it's a text message, you can pause. Or if it's in real time, you could say, hey, I need a moment to think about this, and then I could get back to you. And coming up with whatever you need to enable you to have the best action without, making the situation worse. But I wouldn't even think from that standpoint, but like getting the situation to be the way you want it to be. If there's a problem that arises, you really want it to be resolved in the best way possible without making it worse. In reality, you want to find the best solution. So taking a pause and communicating time that you need to sort through stuff, or, whatever have you, just taking that moment for yourself to really think through and sometimes reframe, because sometimes that's all you really need to do is just recognize that the emotions that you have in that moment don't quite match up to the actual situation happening in the present. The emotions you might have may go back to the past and those subconscious beliefs that you needed to protect yourself. What do they say? The brain, is a goal achieving machine. And what goal is it really achieving? Great at achieving? Keeping you safe. How do we keep this human safe? So really, as you start to pick up these negative things and things that happen through life and whatever, it learns the lesson. It's like, how do I prevent that? But then you also have the subconscious comfort zone. So you could be comfortable with chaos and may find calm boring. So that's a problem in itself. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So that's something you also have to look at is that as well. But overall, I would say this whole thing about beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions, so BTEA, again, from personal development school. I also did product school. There's a different thing for the tech thing. So that's hard. It's a struggle. So from personal development school is that BTEA. So beliefs, then go to thoughts, and then you feel the feelings, so your emotions, and then you have the actions. But if you can once you start to feel those emotions, pause. Really, especially if it's a negative, and like honestly, any emotion. If you've had potentially have chaos in your life, I would say try to pause and on all of it, and really take that time to think through it and really learn how to regulate your nervous system and stuff like that. So pausing is a great tool to use to give yourself time to let to reframe or really think through those emotions and really take the time to measure if it's truly accurate for the particular situation. Maybe it's not accurate, then you can have that more appropriate response for the actual situation. Again, this is something that I think is very important for people who may not have had the healthiest environments of upbringing, or maybe you've had certain relationships in your life where you really had to, protect yourself. Some people have dealt with different types of abuse, physical, emotional, whatever have you. So if you've gone through certain things like that, you really do have to be intentional about essentially reprogramming those old beliefs that in some ways that have to keep you safe, but you have to measure like, hey, you know what? As I've grown, I now know better. And I know like I can't get in that situation again because I know better at this time. And it just, I don't need these particular defenses anymore, because actually it might be causing more harm than good for me, because I now am filtering out those sort of people who maybe cause certain problems. So that moment of pause when you feel the feelings before reacting, then that moment of reframing those beliefs or those thoughts to really make sure it's the truth, and continuing to do that. And then if you have a core belief that is creating these negative emotions and actions, then taking that time to reframe those into, finding the evidence in your life to show that that core belief isn't correct and this actual thing is the real story. So taking that time to notice the feelings in real time, in real life, will allow you the chance to see what your core beliefs are, which can help you get to what you want. So this is really something that's not just about, romantic relationships. I know that's all the rage right now, but it's something that, your financial life, your professional life, your friendships, your family, all of that stuff. So I would highly, 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 highly recommend you consider really taking this time to think about the whole subconscious piece. I highly recommend, and I share with everybody about personal development school. I think it's awesome, but take your time to figure out what's best for you. There's also so many amazing books, but really being mindful of what's going on in your subconscious and those core beliefs is definitely a game changer and getting to where you want to go in your life in so many different levels, in so many different areas of life. So all the best. So BTEA, beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions. So amazing. All right. Bye.